conference Saturday. Shows you how far this program's come.
Yeah, it's three. I couldn't believe. That reminded me.
Big time. Talk about big time program.
That reminded me that Wright and De'Shawn was starting to win some games at Rutgers. All of a sudden, he's flanked at the podium by state troopers. Post game, I thought, oh.
That's when you know the state troopers start coming around and you hit the big time.
I missed the Greg Schiano era. I'd gotten kicked over to news at that point.
Well, you didn't miss a whole lot. State trooper game. You say his name, DeVore?
What's up, guys?
Good morning, Coach.
Forcefully opened the water bottles. No memes. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. Quick recap. I feel like it was a month ago. We played from Saturday night. Similar to what I said Saturday night. Awesome to get a bunch of guys to play. Awesome to get a bunch of guys opportunities to show what they can do. It was a big test for us to see what young guys under the lights were going to be able to go, kind of who can help us as we go here out of those freshmen that came in. Played a ton of guys. Thought from an effort standpoint, it was really, really solid. Thought from a technique, fundamental standpoint, after you watch it, there's a bunch to clean up. Offensively, on the perimeter, a bunch to clean up. Defensively, just some small adjustment deals. We didn't adjust well at times to some new pictures we got. But I thought overall, from an effort standpoint, really solid. It's going to certainly take that this weekend. Moving forward to Alabama, obviously just got done with our Tuesday practice. It was hot and muggy. It was exactly what we needed to get ready to roll. I think for a lot of these guys to go into an environment like it will be Saturday night, will be really cool. We were prepping for the crowd noise, certainly prepping schematically. You have one game on these guys in terms of all three coordinators. Obviously new, coming with the head coach schematically, some Washington, some defensively, a mix of what you saw last week, a mix of South Alabama, a mix of Indiana. There's a bunch of different things that you're getting ready for. You have a small sample size with one game, Western Kentucky. So it'll be challenging in that regard. Obviously, a really good football team. This is my fourth year in a row seeing the same football team, so it's been interesting to see him evolve. Quarterback is playing lights out as he finished the year. Defensively, very different schematically than what it's been 3 years in a row. So a challenge there because it's new. Offensively, they do so much to get your eyes wrong and really, really solid running the football, and then pressure. Put pressure on your secondary because they will take it vertically and have guys on the perimeter that can go vertically. So. Really good challenge, very well coached team. You could tell just like it always has been, very well coached team. Play really hard, have really good team speed, and are certainly big. So big challenge for us. I'm excited to see where we go. I just told our guys at the end. I told them the same thing yesterday. In life you got a certain amount of opportunities, and if your preparation can meet those opportunities, you'll have a chance to do something really, really great. And that's in ball, that's in life. If your preparation doesn't meet the opportunity, you will let an opportunity go, and you got no idea how many you got. So I think they're excited. I think we're just so knee-deep in the prep right now. Kind of can't see the forest through the trees yet, but we'll get a better feel as we get into Thursday and Friday of what we'll look like. So, questions?
Obviously, your key, I think, is to win the conference championship. That's job one. That being said, what does a game like this mean to what you're trying to do here in this program to have some success in a game like this?
Yeah, Joey, I don't think our job is to win the conference championship. I think our job is to build a program, one that's sustainable over time, and to be the best version of us every Saturday. If this is the next step in that, then that's what it is. I don't, and I'm not minimizing it. I'm not making it bigger than it is. Our job is to have our football team ready to go on Saturday. Our job is to be the best version of us on Saturday. At the end of it, the better team will win, and then Sunday the sun will come up and we'll get ready for the next challenge, whatever that is. And I'm not minimizing the importance of the game. It's certainly important. More important than anything, we're still in the process of building our own process and what does it look like to get ready week in, week out. Again, I refer to a year ago, we won back-to-back games and then it all went to complete crap. Well, right now we're trying to win back-to-back games. And so that's challenge number one. When we get to conference play, then certainly winning conference games will be really important. We got 3 more weeks of non-conference games, which is awesome because MK keeps scheduling really good games for us.
Speaking of process, I think most people presume your process is trying to be elite in everything you guys do. Is that the process? Is there more to it?
Yeah, I think you're trying to constantly find the right balance of everything in the program. If you're talking about the players individually, then absolutely, you're trying to be elite in every aspect of your life. And that's school, that's ball, that's personal life, that's what it looks like when you walk around, how you present yourself. Because I truly believe, and you've heard me say this before, I truly believe when your process is right and you didn't cheat it in any way, you've got elite confidence. You've got real, authentic, genuine confidence. I think life is that way too. We joke like there's football gods know exactly what you're doing when nobody's looking. Always have, always will. And so that's what I mean in a player sense. And in a coaching sense, man, like, did we truly uncover every single stone? Did we give our guys every single resource imaginable to go be successful? And as a program, and that's where my process comes in, is am I overseeing the entirety of every single department, every single piece that touches our players? Is it right? And if it is, then I should have confidence that we're ready to go in that same breath. And there's so much that goes into it, but that's what I mean by process. I think at the end of the day, you've got to go into every single opportunity with elite confidence, or you've got no shot. And that's how you see lesser teams win all the time, because one team is more prepared, one team's process was better. You don't control the outcome, and I know I've said that before, but I think it's really, really hard to believe, especially when you're 18 to 22, man. You don't. Your process can be awesome, and that's what's great about football is your process can be totally awesome, and you could be on it. As coaches, we could be on it, but if half your team ain't doing it the right way, you got no shot. And in the same breath, if your recruiting process is wrong, you're not going to have the tools you need, and your process could be as good as you want it to be if you don't have the players. But it's just a continuous building of process within our program, within our players, to eventually have sustained confidence going into every game.
You're trying to get this program's process right, like you said. What does playing a program like Alabama do to that process, or do for it?
Yeah, I think it's a really good test, right? It's another measuring stick in where we are. You look at a program like Alabama. Alabama has been the standard for, man, I don't want to diminish, I don't know, 15, 16 years. It's been the standard of what elite looks like, what elite recruiting looks like, elite facilities look like, elite fan base looks like, funding, the way that those guys play. And again, it's 4 years of watching it, going against it, where there's no mistakes in anything. Like, it's really hard to trick them into something cheap on all 3 sides of the ball. That's how you know it's elite. Obviously a coaching change, but you look at like what that staff that's coming in. There's a guy in Kalen DeBoer this is his 3rd head coaching job, and all 3 places the previous 2 have either maintained or flipped to having a ton of success. and certainly looks like well on their way through week 1 at Alabama. So obviously there's somebody that's got their process right. Don't know them, but certainly looks that way from the outside in. I'm not there, so I don't know. But that's, to me, what it is. That's the class of college football. That's the elite of the elite, and it's another test for us. And I told our guys, and I genuinely mean this, at Alabama's best, they're good to play with anybody in the country. You've seen it for, like I said, I don't know, 16, 17, 18 years. I don't want to get misquoted on that. At our best, we could play with anybody in the country. And I truly believe that if we're at our best. So you hope Saturday night it's 2 teams at their best, and then you see where we are.
How do you simulate, you talked about trying to prepare your players for the atmosphere and all that. How do you simulate noise from 100,000 people and all the other stuff that goes on there?
Yeah, absolutely. So you got crowd noise practice behind the offense, and every play you're running is with that crowd noise. The communication part of it, that is certainly a huge part of it. And so it's working through that. Those mechanics are built in. They're built in through the spring, built in through fall camp, and now you're getting a chance to work the mechanics. And based on where you are on the field, based on where you are in the game, the best way to keep the crowd noise down is to be winning.
Coach, this week, 3rd down is going to be imperative. Not saying it's not imperative every week, but your offense has to stay on the field and your defense has to get off, because they're just going to get worn down on defense and your offense is going to get frustrated. How important is it 3rd down this week?
It's really important every week. You answered your own question.
Coach, you didn't get a chance to play against Milton last year. Film is one thing, but seeing him on the field is another. How much of a disadvantage is that? Not knowing how good this guy is.
No, I think you got a pretty good idea. You got a bunch of film. You got a playoff run, an SEC championship game, a playoff run. You got last week. So you get to see it exactly what it is. That's what we prepped for a year ago as well. But really, really special talent. Really smart football player, gets him in the right plays. Physically, really impressive, both as a thrower, as a runner as well. Like really, really good football player. Older veteran, has been through it. An offensive change, which I think suits really well for him. They're so multiple in what they do. I think, very similar to what you were watching with Penix at Washington, a guy that has got a really live arm, really accurate, and then can create with his legs. So, but you've got so much film on Jalen that I don't know if it's any harder or would have been easier if we played him last year. Super talent, though. Really fun player to watch.
I know you guys played a lot of people Saturday, but is it accurate to say you didn't brandish much of your playbook, kind of played it close to the vest?
We did, I think, keep it simple. I don't know about brandish a lot of the playbook, as much as tried to keep it simple. Offensively, we wanted to go play fast. Mm-hmm. And I think the simpler you keep it, the easier it is to play fast. We, as veteran as it seems like we are, for, like, you think offensively, that was Kelly Joyner's first start at running back in a long time. Mm-hmm. That was Abdur-Rahman Yassin's first start for us. That was Josh Hardiman's first real snaps here ever in front of a crowd. Michael Brown-Stevens was so on and off a year ago injury-wise. For him, that was as complete of a game as it could be. So you want to keep it simple. Offensively, Jack Wiltie, that was his first time in our offense. You wanted to keep it really simple. I think defensively, how we matched up, we were able to keep it really simple because we knew we were playing a tempo offense. We knew we matched up in terms of guy for guy really well, so you didn't have to do just a ton to get accomplished what we wanted to. We were able to load the box. We were able to take air out of it in the pass game, and so you didn't have to do a ton. So I don't know if we did it super intentionally as much as you felt like, man, game plan-wise, if we just played really fast and executed our base offense, like installed one offense, that we were going to be able to move the ball because we could play really fast. And then defensively, I think just matchup-wise, what it turned out to be, we had more probably ready to roll, but we played there wasn't a whole lot of extended drives defensively to where you didn't have to. You were able to get off the field on third down.
Alex had a nice, clean night from special teams, and the punt return in particular was strong. Sean had a great night. You were able to get TK in there a couple weeks ago. You mentioned that he's been working a lot on the punt returns, and he had one real nice return, so you had to be very pleased overall. But as it pertains to TK, is he kind of right behind Sean in the punt return? Should we say depth chart right now?
Yeah, he is. You know, we wanted to get to a situation in the second half where we can get him a return, and the return he had was, I mean, like, he essentially created all of it. Keeps his feet, he's gone. But yeah, absolutely. You know, he didn't return punts at Bowling Green. He's worked it like crazy here. We wanted to get him some kick return work too. Fortunately, we didn't have a whole lot of kick returns, which is really nice. We had 2 on the night. But yeah, absolutely. You know, it's as he develops and you have more trust in him, like to get him out there more and more and more. Sean's just so, knock on wood, sure-handed, and you feel comfortable with him that as we get return opportunities, I think both those guys can go.
And the young man we're going to be speaking with shortly, De'Shawn, if you could, talk about, of course, you've known him from Tennessee, and if you could talk about what he brings to the table in terms of versatility in the defensive backfield and what kind of a young man he is.
Yeah, Ruck. I met Ruck when his grandpa dropped him off on campus in Knoxville. You know, that was the COVID year, so we didn't get to see those kids until they got there, which is kind of crazy. But Ruck, I watched Ruck as a freshman there come in, this track star that wasn't very strong but could really, really run and play a ton as a true freshman, and learned a lot of lessons as a true freshman. Got banged up and really spent 3 years when he was healthy, made a huge impact defensively and on special teams. When he was hurt, he was as down as you can imagine. And, I think he got to a point where he just needed a fresh start, like kept getting banged up and needed a fresh start, and came in, man, put weight on, physically has just grown, knock on wood, also has stayed healthy. I think him and Gio are literally besties. And Connor, our dietitian, like truly he's learned what his process needs to be to take care of his body. Man, it was awesome. I came up to the corners right during warm-ups and gave him a hug, and he said, "Man, thanks, Coach." I'm like, "Dude, thank you." Like, super cool moment. I told my wife after the game, I'm like, "Man, Ruck had himself a game. Ruck said thank you for bringing me here, and I'm grateful he came here." But just honestly, what college football is all about, like that relationship is super cool to me, because here's a young man that really needed a fresh start, wanted to come home, be close to home, and is grateful for the opportunity and has taken advantage of the opportunity. He's playing lights out. He's made that whole room better. But like his energy, it's the same. It's the freshman Ruck that I remember that literally just smile on his face, bubbly all the time, just geek to go play ball. And I said something to him in warm-ups today. I'm like, "Man, like going back to Tuscaloosa, dog." He's like, "I know," and he's one that his process is going to meet preparation. He's going to have a hell of a night Saturday night.
First start against Alabama, I think, in 2022. If
Was
I
it?
remember the notes correctly.
That Seagrass nodding his head, so you got about a 60% chance that that's right.
You alluded to Alabama's success consistently over time, and we've all seen it. Your kids have grown up watching it. They're on TV all the time. So as you go into this setting, which can be larger than life to some, do you seek to normalize it? Like, this is football, just calm this down? Or how do you just approach it where the eyes might be really big?
Man, that's why I say the preparation part. We're dealing with the crowd noise. I don't know if anybody's eyes are going to be big. It's a cool opportunity. The dudes that are going to be on that plane are ones that are going to be ready to go. I think it's like any Saturday. I mean, we play at Ray J. To me, every time I walk in there, I'm like, "Man, how cool is this?" You look up there and Derek Brooks and freaking all those names that ring out, like Warren Sapp. I'm like, "Man, these dudes played here." I guess they played at the old stadium, but like, how cool is that? So I think just like that, like you go and now you're on the road and you kind of soak it in for a second, and then you go, man. I don't know if anybody's eyes will be big. I sure hope not.
Your fan
Wondering the status of Jalen Schuler. Do you have an update?
Yeah, Shu, we got some really incredible news on Sunday after the MRI. He's moving around, no surgery, rehab it out, and the hope is to have him back here in the next couple of weeks. It won't be this week. It certainly won't be next week, but we're hoping Miami, Tulane, somewhere in there. And his energy's been awesome. He's super positive, so nothing structurally crazy. But obviously, a bad deal that, like I said, Sunday morning, I was like, whoa, this is awesome news. So he'll be back here within, I would guess, 3 weeks.
You talked about Rucker, but, there's a lot of new faces in the secondary that started and played a lot, and you gave us a preview saying you can't wait for the fans to see these guys. So, do you feel like you've just added a considerable amount of ability back there with all these new guys?
I think so. I think we've added some ability, but we've also added some competition and depth at the same time. You saw Brent Austin opposite of Ruck. I thought he's had an incredible camp, really had a great spring, incredible camp. He's playing with a high level of confidence. You saw Tavin Ward move to safety, which we feel like is really his natural home. I thought he played really well. It allowed Barry Hill and him to rotate, which gave us a bunch of depth and kept those guys fresh. You saw Tafiq Bayard. I think his best days are ahead of him. He's a really special player, but it allowed us to rotate him and DeMarco Augustin and Jalen Stokes. All three of those guys where everybody could just stay fresh. Like we haven't had that here in the year and a half I've been here. It allowed us to then in the second half. You saw AB come in. You saw Chenault play, which Chenault is a freshman, got a ways to go, but man, I think there's so much upside there. Then you saw Dalen Platt play, like these young guys that are creating competition and depth. I think just keeping bodies fresh is bigger than anything that we've had. And you saw at the nickel spot, Kawan Banks and Jarvis Lee kind of rotate in there, and Jarvis coming off a hand, but man, I thought Kawan did a really good job. And then Jarvis came in and had a monster hit and created a bunch of energy there. So, like, just depth. If you can go too deep in the secondary, especially when you're playing teams that'll shoot the ball vertically, it's huge for us.
Their freshman receiver, Ryan Williams, had 2 long touchdowns here tonight. What were your impressions of him as you watched the tape?
Yeah, he can run. I know everybody can see that. He could run out of high school, too. I mean, man, long, can run. Really, really, really impressive. It'll be a really good challenge, but he can roll. Had 2 for 2 touchdowns and take the top off. It'll be like that dude's going to be a monster as he gets stronger and bigger, and it's impressive. Let me know if you find one. Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You ready? All right. Ready. Running back, Naquan Wright. You playing Alabama for the 4th time. Coming off 797 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. Any questions for Naquan?
Well, I'll start it off then. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but Ric Flair says if you're going to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, if you're going to be the best, you got to play the best. You're going into Tuscaloosa. Big challenge, right?
Yes, sir.
When you look at Alabama on film, what do you see?
I just see a unit, defense-wise, a unit that play hard, chase the ball, physical. Those type of things is what I love, man. You know what I mean? Week out, we got opponents that do the same thing. These type of shows that I like, man. I enjoy playing these type of games, man. Treat like no other week, prepare the same, keep my process the same, if not perfect it.
One more thing. You're going to have a spotlight on you after you trucked that guy last year. I'll bet that in the Alabama film room, coach is saying, that can't happen again. How important is it? You're going to be the center of attention. That's kind of what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't mind it, man. All week I'm just preparing, perfecting my process. And when the opportunity comes, it's going to come, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach wanted y'all to play fast and physical last week. Did y'all keep it simple? Would you agree with that? How simple did you keep it?
Yeah, I think we kept it simple so that we can go out there and play fast and physical. We kind of didn't play as fast as we wanted to, but it's week one. You've been going against each other for a while. You get a new opportunity to go against someone else, so you kind of get away from your fundamentals. So, I mean, everything now has settled in this week two, and we in practice now, so we working our tempo even more.
Naquan, what would you like to see maybe cleaned up from Saturday night going into week 2?
As the running back room, man, we need to make better decisions and keep our feet. We got away from some good runs, man, and if we just press it one more or keep our feet and finish the run, man, from a running back, as a whole running back unit.
Different Alabama team you're going to be going up against than you did previously from the standpoint that Coach Saban's obviously not there anymore. I don't know, have you given that any thought at all? But just to be a little, maybe different looks and so forth than you were accustomed to seeing?
No, I actually didn't give it any thought, man. Just the next opponent, just continue to prepare, perfect my process, that's it.
Naquan, we hear so much, Coach Golesh talks about process all the time, you guys' process. Fans are a little clouding on what it is. How would you define USF's process?
That's an interesting question. I would just say our process, man, taking it one day at a time and just winning the day. That's really key for us. Winning the day, don't focus about tomorrow, the next day, Saturday, Sunday. Just win the day. Like, we try to win every day. And once you continue to win every day in the end, when Saturday gets here, you have a great opportunity to be prepared for the opponent.
You feel like if you guys excel at your process, you can play with anyone in the country?
No doubt. I feel like as we prepare as a unit, as a team, that we can compete with anybody in the country.
Anything else from Naquan? All right, we'll go get Rucker.
Thanks, good.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Good luck
Appreciate it.
Saturday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
How y'all doing?
Rucker, for anyone that's got questions.
De'Shawn, Coach Golesh spoke about the relationship that you two had up in Knoxville. Can you talk about that relationship and how he's helped you get to this point in your career?
Yes, sir. It was a crazy relationship. So I'll say I did commit to the previous staff before Hypo and Golesh got there. And so they ended up getting released and fired. And my spirit told me to stay. I feel like we're going to get a good coaching staff. And so the first coach I actually met when I got on campus was Golesh. He was up there at the dorms. So ever since then, we were always tight, even though he was the offensive coordinator then, and I was on defense, and he was always watching me. He seen me play at Tennessee and things like that. And so once I decided to get into the portal, he was like my first call, just saying like, hey, we got an opportunity here for you. You can make the best of it and things like that. So I trust him. I've seen what he's done on the big stage, and so I just believed in him and decided to come down here. So our relationship is very good, I can say that.
When you entered the portal, was it a hope that you would come back to your home state, or did that really matter at all?
It didn't honestly matter. I was just looking for the best opportunity for me to see where I could play and show my skill set on the field. It just coincidentally happened. Just somebody I knew in Coach Golesh came back home, and that's really why I felt like it was the best fit for me to come home.
First career start was at Alabama 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any
Of course.
feelings now that you're returning to Tuscaloosa, or does it you get you thinking at all in that regard?
Honestly, I just think it's a great game. Well, I always know they go hard. That's one thing I've learned. So playing them for 3 years, I know we're going to get their best. They're always going to go out there and give our best to the fourth quarter. So once I was at Tennessee, I say my first year there, we were head tight with them until the fourth quarter. My second year, we were up 28-10, I believe. By the end of the fourth quarter, they were up 49-42. And then my last year there, we were up 27 at halftime, and they ended up winning the game 35-20. So I know it's going to be a battle at the end of the day, and they're just going to keep fighting. So that's why I just been preaching to the guys, because, they asked me how I feel about this game. And I just say we got to go out, execute, and play at a high level. That's really it. So, yes, sir, that's how I feel.
Coach wanted y'all to play fast and physical Saturday. That was his primary objective. Right. Playbook-wise, how simple did y'all keep it?
I'll say Coach did keep it pretty simple. T.O., he loves to just see us fly around and things like that. So he likes to see us be confident in ourselves and just fly around, have fun with each other, and just embrace each other on the field. So if we make plays on the field, celebrate with your teammates. That's the biggest thing we say. So we flew around, kept things pretty simple, and just wanted to play ball, have fun out there on Saturday.
So there are things in your scheme, your game plan, y'all haven't revealed yet.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll say that. Yes, sir. We got some things in our playbook. I love, since I've been here, Coach T.O., he showed me a lot of things I didn't know and just opened up my eyes in so many ways with defense. So I'm just happy to be with him and just see how he plays the game. And that's with Coach Rowe and DVD as well. They just opened my eyes as a DB once I got here.
In the few months you've been here, what have you learned about USF's process, Coach Golesh,
Right.
process? What is that to you?
Right. So I feel like process, the biggest thing is just seeing where we came from and just keeping our head on our shoulders. So always just having a chip on our shoulders. So I know, like, previously the program wasn't where it was at. Like, I can say that. I wasn't here. I don't know what happened. But I know coming here, I know the mindset Golesh has, and it's to win. And it's just to play the best ball we can. So it's every day. It's just getting better every day. And it's nonstop. Like today, he was on us. Like, he's on us hard. And it's not just because it's Alabama. It's just because it's the next day. And that's why I fully trust Coach Golesh. It's just he pushes us every day.
I'm going to use a wrestling analogy real quick.
Sir?
Ric Flair says, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Right.
Alabama's the man. Let's
Right.
be honest.
Yes, sir.
Going in to play in Tuscaloosa, it's a hell of a challenge.
Right, yes, sir. I'll say they hold about 90 to 100,000, so it's a big crowd, bigger than some of the guys seen on the field, but it's just an opportunity for us to play. I feel like when you go to college, you go to big-time football, this is what the games you look for. So we're just looking for this opportunity, preparing our best for this opportunity, and just going out there having fun. And biggest thing for both sides of the ball is communication. We know it'll get loud in there. We're expecting that dogfight, so crowd's going to be into it. It's going to be a lot of noise and things like that. So just communication is a big piece that we're harping
You
on.
played in Tennessee, 100,000 plus there.
Right, yes, sir.
Baton Rouge, it's not a
Same
place
thing.
to go. Alabama, there's some really tough places. You've experienced that.
Right.
You can tell these guys what to expect, can't
Right,
you?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said before, they always come ask me, like, how is this field? How is this stadium? And I just tell them, like, it's a big difference. I can say that. But honestly, if we prepare and practice, it's nothing. Like, we can go out there and just execute. That's why I was harping on communication and things like that. Like, if we communicate and things like that, don't let the noise get to you, I feel like we'll be in good shape.
When you look at their quarterback, what jumps out to you about his skill set?
Yes, sir. Well, we know everybody knows Milroe, right? He's a poised guy. Have a lot of respect for him. So just been watching him on tape. He's got a great arm, good feet on him. So we're just looking to make plays out in the field. We know they're going to try us deep and things like that. We know he's going to run the ball and things like that. So big thing, just containing him in there and then watching for those deep balls. We know he's going to want to throw those and get confidence. So that's a big thing we've been looking at.
Sean, this is the first time you've obviously met with us. Any hobbies, interests, or some things you would like us to know about you?
I'm a pretty boring guy. I don't really do a lot. When I got here, so at Tennessee, we didn't have like a game room there. So we got game stuff in the locker room. So I've been like big on ping pong with the guys. Like they've been having me play ping pong. So I say like I've jumped on that, and I feel like I'm like one of the best at the ping pong table in the room. But we got some real good ping pong players, though. I can say that. Like they're pretty legit. Like Sean Atkins, he's one of Mike Williams, Byram. They're all pretty good. Bryce Archie, if you watch us play ping pong, it's a great competition in there. But it's just another time to bond with my teammates and stuff like that in there. So it's a good time to be with them.
Anything else? All right.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.